Good evening, everyone. You're listening or watching Wilson Waffling Live, episode 76, recorded on Monday, the 31st of October, 2016. Yeah, it's Halloween, but I just have to say, run titles. Hello, hello, hello. I'm wondering whether or not anybody can hear me at all because I'm trying to do something quite special here. I'm actually trying to stream to Periscope and to Facebook at the same time, and I'm also recording this show ready for YouTube. YouTube as well. So this is Wilson Waffling Live. It's been a long time returning. I am fully aware of this. We're actually up to episode 76, and I vowed that I would actually get up to 100 even if it killed me, but I've changed things around a bit. And I thought, right, what I'll try to do is this new version. So I've actually got it live coming out on Periscope. So if you're on Twitter, then you can watch the show live there, or I'm actually broadcasting live on Facebook. So if anybody is listening anywhere, then it would be absolutely fantastic to get some response from anywhere, because at the moment I have no idea whether or not this is actually, hang on, I'm just leaning over to see. I can't see anything on Twitter at the moment. I can see Periscope working, and I can't see anything on. 2 people, I think, are watching on Facebook. So if you're watching, hello. So this is Wilson Waffling Live, and I'm just sort of like playing with some of this. This is actually wrong now. This one is actually wrong because it actually says join the chat on YouTube. Don't join the chat on YouTube because it won't be there. So don't do that. But there is some chat somewhere. You can always come along and chat on Facebook, or you can send me a message on Periscope as well. I think you could do both. So hopefully that's working. I'm going to do something about this. I'm not too happy about this, but to be honest with you, I upgraded to Wirecast 7 and had to get something out. And I thought, right, watched Periscope. And then I thought, let's go for Wilson Waffling Live tonight, episode 76. So what are we going to have on the show? Well, I've changed it a bit, and we've got a range of different things coming up, but we're still going to have the tweets of the week, which we're going to have shortly, and then I'll see how it goes. I've got some website roundup news for you as well, because I thought it'd be nice to see what's in the realm of education. So you can just sit back and let me do all the work, but if there's anything that you would like to comment on, then by all means just stick a comment on Facebook or underneath this. And if you don't want to actually comment, then just give it a like, or you can reply to me at iWilsonYSJ. Let me put my Twitter up, and here's my Twitter. Yeah, it's just down here somewhere. There it is. Just off, wrong way. I'll use this finger, it might be easier, just sort of like there. Yeah, so by all means tweet me and add hashtag YSJ Prime Ed as well. So let's get on with the show. Let's get straight on with the show, and let's start by having some wonderful tweets of the week. So this is where we get some tweets of the week. I think I've just lost something. Yeah, I've lost something. I've broken it already. I've broken my Twitter feed. My Twitter feed no longer works. I have no idea what's happened to that. I've still got this one for some unknown reason. I've still got this one, Wilson Waffling Live. But the Twitter one, I've broken it. I've broken it all together. That's a good start, isn't it? I'll put the little WW back up there. That's what I'll do. So let's have a look at some of the tweets that have been circulating around YSJ Primary Ed currently. So you can have a look at them and see what we got. So there's lots of things going on in Primary Ed at the present moment in time. So here's the first one. This is from Bryony Wood, who's a first year, and you can see that we are indulging in wartime cookery in DT. Now, I actually had a close look at this, and I'm not too sure what it's meant to be. So, Bryony, if you're out there, then by all means tell me what this is meant to be. I'm thinking, is it mortar or something like that, or is it some kind of stew or some kind of risotto? I'm not too sure, but it must be some kind of wartime food that they were busy creating. So lots of DT going on at the present moment in time, and as well as food in DT. Here's Emily's, who says, first DT lesson was fun. And they seem to be doing some painting there, which is absolutely fantastic. And I think the other one was try to get the marshmallow as far up off the ground as you possibly can, using spaghetti and marshmallows and stuff. So I'm not too sure what that one was, but it looked fun in any case. Now, as well as DT, there's a lot of people at the moment reading books, because the first years have like a English circle that they can do. And here we have Harriet and English Circle Time, YSJ Primary Ed, and they're reading The Rainbow Fish there. And this is a really nice idea. So in the first years, you get together and you congregate and you sit round and you read children's books to sort of like develop your understanding of it, and to sort of like, you know, get a good understanding of children's literature and what books that you can actually share in the classroom, which is lovely. I really like that idea, and some lovely pictures on Twitter. Now, as well as DT and English, we do have some history. And here's Becky, and they are role-playing in a history lesson linked up with drama as well. And you can see that this is an evacuee mom and son from World War II, and really in there doing the acting there and role-playing what it would be like to be an evacuee in World War II. So not just sat in lectures, there's loads of fun and interactive things happening on the course. Talk about interactive and practical work. We also have some science going on at the moment, and you can see Catherine here. The first years are busy doing science investigations. So if you really like the idea of primary science, then you will love this idea of science investigations. And here the first years are carrying out their own investigations to support their subject knowledge, but also they, rather than writing up a boring sort of like science description, or you know, the old-fashioned prediction methods, etc., what they do is that they put it into a context, and then they put it in a poster. And here's a science, this is Catherine's science investigation poster, focusing on materials. Which materials should Curious George use to build a raft to get home? And we had lots of these throughout the first year from the different groups. And just to prove that it's a little bit more practical, here's a selection from Lucy James here, and you can see this was quite an adventurous and interactive actual science investigation, because on this one the students create their own investigations, what they want to do. And this was putting sodium bicarbonate into different volumes of vinegar to see the reaction. And in order to monitor the reaction, what they did was that they captured the air, or the carbon dioxide that was released, in a balloon over the top of the plastic bottle. And this one that you'll see now was a successful one. I think the one before it, they actually couldn't get the balloon on in time. There was too much sodium bicarbonate, too much vinegar, and woof, it went straight up, over the top and out, and never to be, there was vinegar everywhere. Vinegar absolutely everywhere. So it just goes to prove that always check your science experiments before you test them out. And it's not only the first years that are doing science, because the second years are doing science as well. And this is from, you can actually see me in the background there. I'm actually in the background. We're doing something about forces on this one, and I challenged the students to see who could make a paper plane that went the furthest. And here's Emma with Lorna there saying, our paper plane flew the furthest. Achievement of the day. Such a good activity for year threes there. So fantastic. So lots of really interesting science going on. And just so you're aware, I had so much on today. List of Twitter different tweets that I could have done. It was unbelievable. So I need to get back into checking it every single day. But the other thing is, it's really nice that there's a lovely community feel at YSJ. And here are the YSJ Primary Ed Society doing providing useful tips for their first year's first placement. And so the second and third years get together and they do a workshop where the first years can go along and ask questions, and they give some really helpful tips. So this is Kimberly tweeting, thank you to the guys from the Primary Ed Society who gave me useful tips for my first SE1 placement. So excited. And yes, they are really, really excited now, because they actually do go to their first placement on Thursday. So they're obviously all looking forward to it. Now, not only have I broken my Twitter one, I've also broken my Wilson Waffling Live one. I still have my radio one, which I have a feeling that once I've done it once, it's going to break. Yes, no, it's still there. It's still there. I can still use it. I need to work on it. I quite like that. And I've still got this one, which is the Wilson Waffling radio page, wilsonwaffling.co.uk page. That one still works. Oh no, the radio one's gone. The radio, everything's gone. Everything's been broken. So we're failing, guys. We're failing, guys. But it's still working. It's still working well. So thank you for the people who are watching on Periscope. 4 people on Periscope. Hello, Periscope. I think you can actually press a love heart on there, or if you tap the screen, a little love heart goes up, which is always nice to see. I'm not too sure who's joined us on there. Oh, 5 people. And on Facebook Live, we did have 7. But now it's reduced to 4. So I'm not too sure what's happening there at all. But no comments yet. Everybody's very quiet on both of them. But we'll see whether or not we get any questions answered or anything like that. Right, hold still, because I'm going to move you over to my other screen. Now, I thought it would be a good time to have a look at some website roundup news. So here is the website roundup. So the website roundup is when we have a quick look across the internet at all the educational stories that we can find. And feel free, this isn't one-sided, people. So, if you would like to join in the conversation, then by all means, put a message underneath the post on Facebook, or just send me a tweet at iWilsonYSJ. I would make it go underneath, but I think it's gone. I think there's my graph. Can you see my graph there? Hello. That's lovely there. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at what we can find on tonight's website roundup. So first things first. Here we go. So this one, let's see if I can make it a bit bigger for you. Can I make it a bit bigger? There you go. There you go. So here's the first story. The government formally drops academy legislation. So this was a bit of a this was discussed some time ago when the education bill, based on a white paper, actually stated that all schools should be academies by 2020, and there was a lots of uproar about it and saying why. So anyway, you will be pleased to know that it has been removed. Okay, and it said no changes to the Education Secretary, Justin Greening, said no new legislation was required, and that academies were independently run, but state-funded schools overseen by non-profit business known as the academy, they were part of the change. So originally there was going to be compulsory, but from this, it's actually been dropped. Now that was my my phone going off. I do apologize. So somebody was just asking whether or not the radio show was working. Hang on, let me just tweet them back. On live, Facebook Live for, oh, it says Facebook Love, that's no good. Live for education. There we go. Right, turn it off. So this is, I'm not too sure what you feel about education and academies, whether or not it's something that you really love or something that you don't. But to me, I think it's probably, as long as we have some good standard of education, I don't think it matters whether or not it's an academy or state-funded school. I think it's all about effective teaching. And I know some wonderful academies and I know some wonderful state-funded schools, and I think it's all about getting in there and actually teaching well. Now, talking about teachers, this has been very popular in the news recently, that new teachers, 30% of the 2010 intake quit within 5 years. Yeah, so huge amount of teachers are actually quitting the job within 5 years. Almost a third of new teachers who started jobs in English state schools in 2010 had left the sector 5 years later, ministers had confirmed. Now, I'm not too sure whether or not this was purely secondary schools or primary schools as well. Okay, I wasn't too sure, but even if it's just all of them together, it's still a huge amount leaving the school, 30%. So that's what, 3 in 10, which is a huge amount. Now, I think the interesting thing about this story is, I should confess here that, of course, I have left teaching. Well, I'm still teaching, but I'm teaching in higher education. But I often think, I didn't leave teaching for a long time, so like 22 years, but I'm often wondering, why are these people leaving? And are they majority in secondary school, or is it in primary schools as well? And I think there's a huge pressure on from the government and head teachers to, up progression and get higher standards. And some of the times I just think that we should be looking at the child holistically and focusing on the child and sort of like thinking what is best for these children and making education fun and interesting and innovative. And I think sometimes that's sort of like dampened, and there's a lot of paperwork and extra pressure put on teachers. And I don't know whether or not it's actually that causes them to leave, or whether or not there's a whole load of people who are going into teaching thinking it would be quite easy and then realizing that it's quite difficult. I don't know whether or not it's that. So I think there's a huge range of reasons here, and what we need to do is probably unpick the actual reasons and then try to address those. And rather than just sort of like saying, oh, here's some more money if you go into teaching, I don't think that's actually the idea. So, I mean, we have a course that is full of very eager and keen teachers, and hopefully they'll all realize that it's a fantastic job, because I certainly love it. Talking about loving school, one thing that we never did love when we were at school, I don't think, is homework. homework. And it's interesting, this article, and these are all from the BBC Education and Family page. This is interesting about homework because it said, why do Finnish pupils succeed with less homework? And I think this is a really interesting situation, you know, because it goes on to parents. I think there's a wonderful picture here. I mean, how often is that the picture that we actually see in homework? Now, I think homework is, the thing about homework for me is how it is set, it is set. And I think that homework has two options. Okay, I think sometimes it's a set for the sake of setting homework, and it has no value, and it's just practice, and it takes a huge amount of time, and parents and children hate it. I also think that sometimes homework is sent home and there's been no consideration to differentiation or whether or not the child can do it, and so the homework goes home and there's this huge gap because the child can't do it, and the parent then has to intercede, and then the parents say, let's do it this way, and the child says, that's not the way that Mr. So-and-so does it. And so there's a huge sort of like amount of friction there. And I think that could be a real issue with homework. I think for me, what homework should be is something that is, apart from regular reading, I quite like that, and you know, and if learning times tables I think is really good, but I wouldn't say it was a test. I think it's just sort of like learning, playing games. I think homework, that playing games, we used to send maths games home that the children can swap in and out of, and that was really fun for them to sort of like participate. So less of a worksheet to do, or some kind of investigation. So the I remember one of the things I used to do for homework is just give the children a title. So it might just be wolf or ghost or hedgehogs or space. And the children can then create whatever they want to fit into that that theme. And if you go along to wilsonwaffling.co.uk and actually search for the word homework, then you'll find an article about it, how to set it up, and also how to sort of like what the results were in my own classroom. So I think Finnish pupils probably do succeed better with less homework, but I think it's more about what the homework is. And I think it's a bit like the teacher thing. I think we need to step back slightly, and rather than pushing, trying to allow children to progress in their learning, try to step back and let them enjoy it. And I think if they enjoyed it more and they had less pressure on them, then that might actually reap some benefits in the long run. Now, talking about benefits, this website, Institute of Effective Education, brought something to my attention that I was very, very pleased with, because you might be aware that I'm a bit of a gamer. Yeah, I'm on Twitch and I stream so like Star Wars and things like that. So you might be aware of this, and I really like gaming, and I think it's really important. It's a nice pastime, you know. But interestingly enough, it says that a recent study at the Australia Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology examined the pattern of teenagers' internet usage and its relationship to reading, maths and science scores. Okay, so the PISA, you know, the Programme of International Student Assessment. Anyway, interesting enough, it says here that teenagers who played video games, I know I'm not a teenager, but I play video games, on a regular basis scored 15 points above average in maths and reading and 17 points above average in science, while teenagers who used social media scored 4% below average in maths. Now, what it's saying here is that it's saying, yes, there is probably nothing important or nothing beneficial from sat on Facebook day in, day out, just doing Facebook activities. But gaming can actually be beneficial. And it says one of the reasons, it says The article discusses possible reasons for disparity, including the fact that certain video games require students to apply academic knowledge to progress to higher levels. Social media use, however, reinforces little academic knowledge and can eat into study time. So I am very, 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 very pleased to hear that gaming is up there. So if you are a gamer, then don't give it up. Keep playing, especially if you're a teenager, because it will help your reading, maths and science. And finally for the website roundup, you'll be pleased to know that a teacher has been found for Tiny Island School. And I did think about applying for this, but I don't think that the actual internet is very good up there. So anyway, a new teacher has been found for a school with 9 pupils on a tiny Hebridean island after the social media appeal generated worldwide interest. Residents of the island of Muck, or the Isle of Muck, fantastic name, set up a dedicated Facebook to attract applicants after the former teacher left for family reasons. Nearly 60 people applied and now a permanent teacher has been appointed. The successful applicant, Laura Mariner, will move to the island with her husband, Dean, and their 2 children. Absolutely fantastic. And it's really nice to see this little picture here. This is the school and it's a focal point there and all the children. There's 9 children. And I thought, what a lovely thing. Now, it's located, it says here, just south of the island of Skye. Okay, and it has no church, shop, or even a postbox. And with a population of about 30, a single road links a farm to the main settlement. Okay, so I just think it's absolutely unbelievable. A 3-bedroom flat is included in the job, so you'd be pleased to know. So there it is. So if you were planning on setting up school, there she is, there's the new teacher, or going out to this far reach school, then I'm sorry to say the job has been taken. The job has been taken and it's been gone. It's gone, so you can't go back and do it. But anyway, that was the end of the website roundup. Now then, let's just move back to this shot. In I come. And let's talk about, so I'm not too sure whether or not that's been helpful. We've had a few viewers on Periscope and a few viewers on Facebook. So hopefully we also used to have a section on this chat called Ask Waffling Wilson, and that's when you could ask me questions. So if there is any questions that you would like to ask me, then by all means just tweet me them at iWilsonYSJ, or you can post them below in the Facebook chat, just add it as a comment, or if you're watching the recording of this on YouTube, then by all means just add it there. What I'm going to get planned for you next week as well, just so you know, is that I'm also going to do a bit of some activities, because I like to give you ideas on this this YouTube or Facebook show as well. So next week I'll have a section that I'm going to give you some ideas as well. I obviously need to sort out all the scrolly bits down below, but I will get there. I will get there. So please, please, please do come back. Do come back. I'm going to try to do this every Monday night at 8 o'clock as usual. But the only time I won't do it is when we're doing a Planet Waffle episode, when I've got somebody on the other end of Skype talking about their favorite music. So bear with me. If there's anything that you would like to see on this show, then by all means just add it in the comments or tweet me and I will endeavor to put it in this show for you. I hope you've enjoyed watching tonight's show, short as it is, but hopefully it's been useful for you, and it's nice to see what's going on in the world of education and in the world of primary ed on YSJ. So I have a little way that I like to finish off all my broadcasts, so I'm going to do it now for you, and it only remains for me to say, have fun guys, and I'll catch you all later. And until then, consider yourself waffled. Catch you later. Bye.